Hello everyone, Jak Syn here on behalf of Fiend.com and Future Daze, and today we're sitting with DEADLIFE. How you doing today?
I'm good, dude. How are you doing?
Best as I can be. It's a nice sunny day outside, and I know for you right now it's like nighttime because we have that 8-hour difference in between. But it's a good day. Birds are chirping. My cats are running around the apartment like crazy. But I'd say I'm having a pretty good day.
That's good, man. Like, to be fair, I've got a cat somewhere running around, but I don't know where she is. Well, she was here a minute ago, but I don't know where she's gone, so.
Okay, so today we're going to ask you a couple of questions and see where it goes. Are you ready to do this?
Yep.
Here we go. Let's get into it. What are 3 of your most memorable moments during your musical career?
I'd say my first one was releasing my first album because it was my first one. So with it being the first one, it's the hardest to put out, I think, and it was my debut. So that was a defining moment, definitely. Like putting that one out was definitely a defining moment. I'd say my second one has been more of a gradual one, which has been it's more something that's like over time as opposed to like a certain specific moment. But it's probably, I'd say, the support I've got from people that listen to my stuff, because that's something I never thought that I'd really get. Not on the level it's on now. So every day it's like when I get messages or tweets or comments or whatever, it's always nice to see that. It's truly awesome. Like, it's so cool. And the third one is probably the last album I put out, because it did a lot better than I thought it would, and I'm still shell shocked from it. So, I'd say that was a defining moment for me, because it made me realize, like, oh, it's all right. Like, the stuff I do is all right. And some people like it. So yeah, I'd say they're probably my 3 most memorable moments.
Those are some great memorable moments right there. Like what you were just saying right now, your last release, City of Eternal Rain. I mean, I absolutely love it. I love it. It's a great release. It's got some really, really great tracks on there. The whole album has this nice little concept, where it flows really nice. And yeah, it's raw and it's visceral, but it's like straightforward. It's in your face, but it's got this really nice like journey. You know what I mean? One of my favorites on the album is, of course, Young Fury. And if you guys get a chance, be sure to check out this album. It is completely amazing. I mean, so kudos to you on that. It is a great release. Your other releases are really, really great. I love, all of the stuff that you've been putting out over the past couple of years. It's got that nice, I don't know, it's got that unique DEADLIFE sound.
Well, thanks, man. Firstly, I'm really glad you like the album, man. It's really nice to hear that. It's crazy, really, because it's just like, I just sit in my room and just jam out some electronic stuff. And it's just cool. It's always cool to hear people like it, if a little surreal. It's like, oh man, thank you. But as for my sound, that's something that I don't know. I quite like my stuff to sound organic. I mean, I know it's electronic, but it's making it sound like because it's very much rooted in like my love of cyberpunk culture, And for me, that's quite a gritty kind of organic thing. That's something that I've always wanted to get across in my sound. There's like a theme, like a feel that I'm trying to convey. Like, not just for listeners, but for myself. Like when I'm making it, I know there's like a feel I'm going for, and I know when I've got it. But it's like, it's always a process when I'm writing to get that. So I think my sounds it's kind of come from that, this kind of like organic / futuristic kind of metallic sound with a bit of a grit on it, and it sounds kind of old, but it's not. It's just like, for me, when I'm making it, obviously I want it to sound satisfying for me. Like, I want to hear it and go, yeah, like, I like that. And that's how I've always written. So the fact that people like it and get it is just like surreal, but it's cool that people get my vision, that they get a similar vibe from it.
Well, you know what? I gotta say, when listening to your albums and listening to your songs, I mean, you do get transported to a large mega city when it's raining outside, and all you want to do is just walk down the street and see the neon lights and just let sound hit you right there in your chest. That's what you get when you close your eyes with that. You know what I mean? That dark dystopian future vibe that you get when you listen to it.
Oh, that's cool, man. Like I say, if people get that vibe from it, then that's exactly what I'm, that's what I'm going for. I've got a lot of influences from a lot of different media, films, books, and I think everyone's got probably their own idea as to what cyberpunk is. For me, it's kind of like a reflection of, like the world and the way that I think that we're going to go as a society. I really do think that. And it's something that I've always felt, especially recently, especially with just how things are turning out. I'm not going to go into specifics, but I definitely think that's where we're going to be heading. I mean, who knows? So for me, since I was a kid, there's like this feel I got. Like I remember reading some like Judge Dredd comics when I was really young, and I had this feel, this feeling when I read it. I was like terrified but fascinated, and it's something that I've kind of carried forward just throughout my life. And it's really good that I can now construct something that is in that vein that other people can also share. Like for me, that's a really big thing for me, for people to feel immersed, like you say, in this kind of neon lit city. That's more than I can ask for.
It really is an immersive experience when you listen to this music here. So everybody out there, if you haven't checked out DEADLIFE, check him out. He's got some really amazing stuff, really amazing releases. His newest release, just go listen to it. You're really going to go on a journey when you hear it. What would you say is your favorite album/EP that you've worked on?
I think it changes every time I don't want to be like, oh, all of them, because I think they've all got their place. And when I've done each one, it's a very specific slice of my memory from the time I did it. I'd say right now, it's the one that I've just finished, which is the next one, which isn't out yet, probably, because it's so fresh in my mind. It's probably that one, but I'd say also, I mean, I probably always go back to my first one with Bionic, because it was so, like I didn't have anyone listen to my stuff because I had nothing really out. And it was completely like a very introverted experience. It was a very introverted time writing that. I was in quite a strange place mentally when I did it. I was in my last year of college. It was tough writing it, but it was it's a place I wouldn't want to go back to, but it was definitely quite a defining moment. So looking back, I'd say it was my favorite to work on because a lot went into it. I mean, a lot goes into every album I do, and it really takes it out of me. But that one being the first one, me not being used to writing albums, really, it shaped my sound, it shaped me, and it shaped the way that I then knew when I wrote that album, I knew which way I was going to go, and I knew what I was going to do.
Well, thank you for that. And I know that a lot of artists out there, when they go through like a creative process with their albums, like they're at different places in their life, like you were mentioning, like you were introverted at that time. So it's a very personal time for you. I'm sure that navigating through that album or designing that entire album, like getting through it, I'm sure it was a bit of a challenge at first because you're trying to find your sound. You're trying to find out which way you want to go, what you want to do. But consistently what you've done over the years since that album, like it's just, I think for my personal opinion, is up and up and up and up and up and up. It's just you're just banging them out, and right now you already have another album in the pipeline, like ready to go. That's crazy. It's great.
Yeah. It is one of those things which is it is a personal experience, and it is, for me, I am introverted, definitely introverted, and I like that. I like working on my thing. I like sitting down and jamming out some synths, like screwing around with like different synths and experimenting. That's like where I'm happiest, So every day, like when I finish work, it's like I get back, I eat pretty quick, you know, I eat real quick, come upstairs, and I usually just start jamming. That's like every day, and then obviously all weekend usually. So with like creating so much stuff, I guess it's something that will happen, you know, if it's something like if you do something all the time, like you improve. I think that you can be comfortable in, like, you know, you can learn enough to put stuff out, but for me it was always like I want to always improve. Like every album I want to top the last one. Now I know that, you know, my sound has changed. There's been like with like variations on the Resolve and Orphan, they were very down tempo, but they're just albums that I wanted to, that was me kind of experimenting, me being like, all right, let's just kind of do something like this. And then it was back in with Singularity, like it was more dark synth again. And then obviously the same with City of Eternal Rain. And basically I'm always trying to learn new stuff to convey the feeling that I want to convey. And like, so that's why like every day I open up my Ableton and I'll try something out. You know, I'll screw around with the synth. I'll change the modulation on it. I'll distort it a little bit. Maybe I'll reverse it. I mean, you know, I'm always finding new ways to use reverb and delay and things like that. And it's, man, I love it. Like I absolutely love it. And I've already been writing again, like today and yesterday, because I just love to just write. I love creating. I love going, you know, like writing a track and hearing it and being like, yeah, that's what I wanted it to sound like. And then, you know, usually I'll go in with like an emotion. I'll think, right, I want it to convey this kind of emotion or this kind of theme, you know. So like I did one yesterday, which I don't even know when that's going to be out, which is, I wanted to write like a credits scene where the credits are rolling for this really gritty cyberpunk film that doesn't exist. Like this, you know, I wanted to just write that. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. I mean, who knows? I mean, it could be, honestly, man, like, I'm really happy with it.
It's the creative mind at work, you know, the creative mind. It's like you're in your workshop, you know, and you're constantly tinkering, you're building, you know, you're reshaping things that you've worked on and turning them into other things. It's just who you are. It's who you are creatively. I'm sure that if it wasn't music, it would be something else that you would be completely like, you know, immersed in. So keep working, keep creating. You know what I mean? Don't, you know, it's like, I know a lot of artists out there and a lot of people, they kind of go like, I have so much stuff, I don't know what to do with it. You know what? We'll shelve it and put it up there on the shelf and wait for the next one. You know what I mean? Throw it on that one. It's all going to come out one way or another.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, with City of Eternal Rain, I was waiting for 6 months for that to come out, maybe 7 months. I don't know the exact time period, but man, it felt like forever, like getting this one that's just come out, because I didn't know what people would think of it. I had no idea, because you just never know, you know, like you like some, you know, people might not like it or whatever, but it was just waiting. And so whilst I was waiting, I was like, well, I might as well just keep writing. So yeah, that's basically what I ended up doing, and hasn't got a release date yet, but that's something I'm happy with. I will say it's a little bit quicker, a bit more experimental, and a bit darker, definitely a bit darker. It's like you say, it's like being in like your workshop. It's like, I am obsessed with writing music. Like I love to create it, and I love to screw around with synths. It's where I feel at home, you know. That's like very, very therapeutic. And I would say to pretty much, honestly, to anyone, really, if you haven't got something that you do which is creative, man, start, because you haven't got to be, you know, it's not about being good at it. I don't think it's just about enjoying it. It's about really loving it. And because also I think in art, I think, you know, if an artist doesn't enjoy what he's doing, you know, that's why for me it's always been pivotal. I mean, like, there's no middleman, you know. I just write what I write, and I'm fortunate enough that my labels put it out as is. There's been no creative, you know, control from them. It's all been on me, and I like that. You know, that's from starting the track to mastering it. Like, I do the whole thing start to finish, mix and master it, you know, and And I love that because there's definitely a certain sound that I'm going for when I'm writing, and that comes from that whole process. And I couldn't be happier, really. Like, that's the dream, right?
Exactly right. And you know what? And I'm sure everybody out there is super excited and they can't wait to hear this new release. And I mean, they're hearing it. They're hearing what you've released currently, like recently. But I'm sure after seeing this, people are going to go, "Oh wow, we got another album. I can't wait to get on that ASAP." What was the drive behind getting you into making music and performing live?
Honestly, for me, it's been something it's been like a innate desire since I was really small. Like, you know, I mean, I'd say since I was born, but basically since I can remember, I've always been making music, and I've always known, growing up, even like, you know, when I was like a toddler, so when I was in infant school, juniors, my thing was always, I'm going to make music. And I'm pretty sure anyone, like even in like high school, like when I was like 11 years old, that was always my thing. And something that I was always like, yeah, I'm going to make music one day. Like, that's my thing. But at the time, like, because I played drums, I started drums when I was 9, because it was a cool instrument, you know. That's the only reason. I was like, yeah, man, I want to play the drums. But, you know, deep down, I'd say the subconscious drive is probably a need for self-expression. And as I've got older, reflection, to express the way I feel, which I couldn't get across in words. Like, it's definitely something that I feel that drives me forward with what I make now. But it's not like one thing. It's more like just this kind of, I want to convey these emotions and settings and worlds, for the people to enjoy. I think as I got older, there's some pieces of music I'd hear when I was a kid, and I just love them. You know, I just absolutely adore them, and they just made me feel like comforted. You know, in times of like in really hard times. So I also know that, you know, music can be very important in our sense. You know, that we've all got songs we go to when we're feeling a certain way, and so I think also I'd hear these songs myself when I was a little kid, and I'd be like, man, I want to do that for someone else. I want to write a song that makes someone else feel the way I feel about this, you know, like, and yeah, it's just grown. It's just grown over time, man.
So since you were small, since you were a young child, I mean, that's great to hear that it's been inside of you the entire time. I mean, you can hear it in your music, you can hear it, you can see it through your career and the things that you've done. That, like we were mentioning earlier, you know, you're a somebody who's tinkering away in your workshop, but you've been tinkering your entire life. You've been tinkering with instruments and different sounds since you were a little kid. You know, from your time with the drums, and you know, as you progressed into like recording and mixing and all of this other stuff, I think it was always something that was deep down inside of you. And I think a lot of other artists and musicians out there, you know, and even not just artists, but like, you know, writers and directors and anybody who works in the arts, that can resonate with them, because there's always this inherent thing inside of them where they kind of go like, I have to do something, I have to get something out, I have to like show my creativity to the world. So it's great to know that this was always a part of you ever since you were a young child.
I've been very lucky in that respect, I think. You know, I know that I've had friends of mine when I'm growing up who said they aren't sure what they wanted to do, and I was like, man, it's cool, you don't need to know. For me, it was music, but the problem, I guess, would have been, especially in, you know, like when I was younger, was like, you know, I understood very quickly that it wasn't a means to make a living. It was something that I eventually knew. Like, I was like, well, I want to do it because I love it. I mean, if you want to be rich and make loads of money, you don't make music. You know, you go and you do business, or you become a doctor or something like that, or an accountant or something like that. But yeah, for me, it was always like, well, I don't care. I want to make it anyway. I want to make music anyway. Even if no one hears it, if I haven't written for X amount of time, like a few days, I can really feel it. Like, I don't feel myself, and I feel a little bit like I've got a lot like that I need to get off my chest. That speaking doesn't do it. Like, I need to write. Writing helps that.
But also too, you know what? Everybody out there, there's no roadmap. You know what I mean? There's no roadmap to your success. Like your success is going to be different from somebody else's success. Whatever you create, whatever you do, there's no roadmap to follow. It's your creative journey. You know, so create. That's it. Be creative and just and let that thing that you're feeling inside out. What are you looking forward to accomplishing the most moving forward?
To carry on, you know, on the path that I've always wanted to go on. Really, it's you know, creating worlds that people feel they can immerse themselves into to alleviate, you know, the stresses of life. To give them like a medium to you know, something to listen to in those times, and also I'd say probably to inspire people, you know, to make people feel like they can do it, you know, like they can, you know, it doesn't matter. Like, I think if you want something enough and you work at it, you know, you can make it happen. I think you've got to be realistic. But because I mean, when I started making synth, I wasn't thinking to myself, yeah, man, I'm gonna be massive with this, because I mean, this is, you know, synth was and still is underground. Like it is. It's growing. Who knows how long for? I mean, it could go all the way. I mean, who knows? But especially with dark synth, it was kind of something that, you know, I didn't go into thinking it would be this huge thing. I definitely never thought it would get to the point it's at now, without a doubt. But at the same time, I think, yeah, it's to inspire people to say, like, you know, like, even if you haven't got much, if you've got a computer and you've got a will to create, you'll find the way to do it, definitely. And especially with the internet, like, I taught myself on YouTube tutorials and articles on like how to EQ and mix. You know, no one taught me how to do it. It was all self-taught. Like, we can do that, and that goes for a lot of other things as well. I think, like, you know, if you just practice and you want to do it, you can do it.
Very true. That's very true. You know, and like you were saying before with the scene, how things are still, you know, underground and how they're still kind of going, you know, kind of exploding. I think right now with all the artists and everybody creating things, like there are a lot more independent artists out there now who are creating this type of music, who are you know, in the synthwave stuff, the dark synth, the retro wave, the outrun, all of that. It is making itself mainstream now because the people who listen to it and the people who are creating it, like, they are making it the mainstream. They are the mainstream. You know what I mean? So I think it's a great thing to see that, like, there's a lot of independent artists out there who are really just putting their content out there for other people to listen to. And you're really starting to see it at like shows. You're really starting to see it online, but you're really starting to see it at shows and clubs, you know, because we have, you know, different events popping up here and there. I think one of the things that I would really love to see is you coming out here to the United States and performing live. That's one of the things I really want to see. DEADLIFE on tour. That's what I would love to see.
Yeah, man, me too. I'd love to play the States, man. I would love to do that, and that's something that I've been working on. You know, live stuff, like thinking about live and going live. And I know that a lot of my listener base are in the US. Man, that would be amazing to do that, and I know it will happen. It's definitely something that's going to happen, but nothing's been sorted out yet. I'd need to sort out my live set and then, you know, and figure it out from there. But man, yeah, playing live in the States would be awesome. And plus, I've got like friends in the US that I could see, and like we could hang out and grab a drink or something. You know, that would be awesome. Like, just to to do that. So yeah, that's something that I'm very excited about. But obviously with the pandemic and stuff, it won't be just yet, but it's definitely something that I've been seriously thinking about.
Definitely. You know what? Once we transition into, you know, where we were, I guess you could say pre-COVID-19, I mean, this is definitely something that I'm looking forward to. And I know that a lot of people out there are looking forward to as well. So be sure, you guys out there, be on the lookout, you know, soon. for Deadlife to come out here and start touring and start touring the world, because it's going to be amazing. What positive message would you give your fans out there?
I think, they say it's not what you know, it's who you know. With a lot of things in life. But I think if you work hard enough, you can go it alone. I think also it helps to be self-critical, but not so much that you lose your confidence. Because I think it's very important to be able to really criticize your own stuff, but not to the point where you hate everything you make, because there's definitely a fine line between the two. With anything, especially with music, but with anything, I think you've got to prepare for the setbacks. When I went into doing this, I was ready to struggle. I was ready. I'd already been through the mill before. I've been in a band for years before. As a drummer, I didn't end very well. But I'm very thankful for that experience I got. And so when I went into this, I went in thinking, all right, I'm not going to get any help. No one's going to teach me how to do it. I've got to teach myself, and I've got to work myself. So for me, it was very much a case of determination to keep going. I think if you're ready to struggle and you're ready to face those setbacks, and you go in knowing there's going to be times where, you could write 100 albums and no one's going to help you out with it. That can happen, but it's just keep going. And I think if you love what you do and you accept that, it makes things a lot easier, because I also know that there's a lot of artists out there that get very, very down on themselves when things don't go right, when they don't go their way. And maybe it comes with just experiences in life. But, we have to understand that no one cares about what we make as much as we do, That's why when I started, I knew that no one was going to come out and say, hey, man, I'll give you a hand with that. It was down to me and me alone. And I got used to that. And, that's why it took quite a number of years to get to a point where I could release it and be truly happy with it. And besides, I think it's the negative experiences, it's the struggles that make it what it is. I think the journey is often more important than the destination. Again, when we accept that, when we say, all right, life can be really, really bad sometimes, it can suck. You've got to take it in your stride, you've got to get back up when you get knocked down, and that goes for a lot of things. And it's something that, for me, I'm still learning that. So the positive message to take from that would be just keep going and keep doing your thing, really.
You are going to have struggles. You're going to have your ups and you're going to have your downs. And it's very true that nobody is going to care about what you are doing as much as you are. That's it right there. Well, thank you so much for all of those great memories, Ed. I appreciate you taking the time to sit down and have this conversation with me. Thank you to everybody for tuning in today. We look forward to many more amazing things from Deadlife in the future. To everybody out there, if you like this video, be sure to like and subscribe to the Tour Fiend YouTube channel. We got plenty more interviews on the way. Thank you.
Yeah, cheers, man. Thanks for inviting me on. It's been cool. I'm pretty sure we had a massive conversation well before this. But yeah, man, it's been really cool to sit down and chat about this stuff. Thanks very much. I appreciate it.
It definitely has. And you know what? It was a great conversation. So you have a great rest of your night, and we'll be seeing and hearing from you very soon.
Thanks, dude. Take it easy.